Hey everybody, it is Deontay Damper. I am a part of the leadership team of Brothers United in Leadership Development. That's right, Build 206. Bringing forth to you again our edition of Office of Labor Standards, right? Podcast. And one of the main things that's so important about this podcast is like Build is focused on labor standards to help educate and inform our community about their rights, responsibilities related to labor standards for the employers and employers of the city of Seattle, right? So as we've been doing this, we've been doing this for the past 3 years. We wanted to pivot. We want to focus on some of our artists. We know that when we're talking about Seattle, this has been a place of where artists have been made. Macklemore, Jimi Hendrix, just to name a few. So we thought it'd be best to start interviewing some of our artists out here, and I'm very, very happy for the first episode of this podcast to invite my brother Ryk to the studio. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So should I say Ryk or Ascend Reality? I feel like I should say Ryk.
Yeah. You can say Ryk. I'm starting to get used to people calling me Ryk.
Yeah. So for people who aren't familiar, right, before we even get into this podcast, tell us a little bit about some of the work that you've been doing, and tell us some of the work you've done.
Okay. Yeah. So as you mentioned, right, I go by the name of Ascend Reality. My name is Ryk Good. I go by Ascend Reality in the community, so some people even just call me Ascended. But some stuff that I've been doing lately, or I guess I should say who I am and what I do, is Ascend Reality is a hip hop group local to Seattle. It's myself and my buddy Ep1. I usually hold it down since he's not here. But we go around, perform, stay involved in the community. I'm also, I try to organize different events in the community as well, from open mics to being on the board for like Black Seattle Nerd Fest. So I try to stay engaged in the community as best I can. But my passion lies in performing. So I'm a performing artist, a hip hop artist.
And I think, let me just ask this question. This is a labor standards question. When did you first fall in love with hip hop?
I first fell in love with hip hop, honestly. It's been a minute, but the one Lupe Fiasco, I'm gonna say Lupe Fiasco. It was before him that I liked hip hop, but when I heard Lupe Fiasco spit back in like early 2000s, and just storytelling, just lyricism, putting everything together, that was really what drove me to want to write. I love storytelling. Like it's ingrained in my family.
And that's a great artist too, that you referred to, and you are a great storyteller. And as you are like working and becoming with the aspirations of becoming a full-time artist, right? We have to talk about the pay, right? When we're talking about fair pay for artists, right? So when you hear the word fair pay or fair work in the arts, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, so fair pay or fair work in the arts, to me, it just means just giving artists kind of what they deserve, right? It's hard to, as an artist, it's hard to understand what you should be paid for your service, because you hone your craft so much, and then somebody comes through and they say, hey, we want to hire you for this 45-minute, 30-minute, hour gig, whatever it may be. And you think of the time frame of what you're being hired for. You don't really think about the time that it took you to hone your craft. And so it's really hard as an artist to understand what you need to fairly be paid, I guess. Even though you want to make it a living wage to where you can end up surviving in the city that, where everything's kind of higher.
You better say surviving, right? Because I mean, it is important, because it's like, you want me to come and perform my art, and although you want 30 minutes from me, it took me 7 months to put together like this package. So which kind of goes into like the next question. We know like some of Seattle labor laws and minimum wage and things like minimum wage or sick time, right? Has that ever affected you or your creative work in any way?
Yeah, so it's affecting my creative work in a sense. Like I want to try to be mindful of the different venues and such that I perform at. And so I do think about their minimum wage laws and how many for me it's a little different, right? I think about how many, they gotta hire employees, they gotta keep the lights on, do all this extra stuff. And so I'm trying to not have them break the bank, which is a little weird to think about. And so I'll try to adjust my pay for that when I really need to understand that I need to get paid too. So I don't know if that really adds up to where it's at, but yeah.
No, I think it does add up. I think that, we being able to advocate for ourselves, and I mean, you're a
Mhm.
father, you have all these other things going on, and I think sometimes being able for the vendor or the biz or the place where we may work in Seattle to really just hold
Mhm.
space for whatever that may look like, right? Um, which kind of goes into like the next question. What makes it hard? And we've talked about this before. What makes it hard for artists or even creatives of business to understand like that what do you think what may be hard for people to understand some of these kind of like labor rules or standards? I mean, we were talking earlier about like like kind of not really having a grip on like some of the labors, not knowing, not being
Yeah.
in the know of some of that these things actually exist. What do you think makes it hard for artists or businesses to be in the know of some of these things?
Yeah, so for artists, I find it like the business side of as an artist, you usually think about the creative space and the creative side. You're not necessarily thinking about the business side of things. But as I start to transition to it more full time, right? With my gigs, um, I have to have that business mindset, and that doesn't come as easy to me as the creative mindset. But I
Hmm.
do know I need to take out time to focus on that. So I think having like I'm always trying to look for different like pamphlets or different things that people have talked about, or even workshops that there might be about how to have that business mindset with my art.
Yeah, I think, or being able to make an equitable wage so you could right, is
With that too, that would be that would yeah,
yeah.
that would do it for me.
And I've always loved these conversations with OLS and Bill 206, and we're always looking to expand or figure out what more we can do, right? So, what do you think, like the city and groups like Build, can do to better support artists and creative workers around fair pay and rights?
Yeah, I mean, to better support artists and creatives and such around fair pay, that's gonna be I mean, like I just mentioned, like workshops, right? Having workshops would be good. Having just like a collective of art. And so right now it feels like if I know it's not true, but it feels like I'm kind of on an island, right? Whenever I'm trying to
Mm.
understand things. So I'm always trying to figure it out on my own, even though Seattle has this large group of artists. And if we just had some kind of collective where we came together and said, "Hey, I'm doing this. What are you doing in this space? What are you doing?" You know, I'm thinking of what is it? It was with Africa Town actually that I ended up having a business class, like a business workshop. And
Hmm.
it was just a few of us collectively trying to understand business together. And we were hearing each other's challenges and understanding that it wasn't just us who were having these challenges. It was everyone, and we worked through those. So that's where my mind goes, kind of something like that, right? Where we could just understand that we're in this together. We're not just solo.
Yeah, and I think, but it's really important for us to continue to like look ahead. And when I think
Mhm.
about that too, I just don't think about like here in the city, right? Or just in Washington or Seattle. I'm thinking culturally, like around the world, right? So how do you think like labor laws, especially around supporting artists, can work better for people in the arts and culture around this nation?
Oof. Yeah, around the nation, and that is important for me because I try to get out to different cities whenever I can,
Hmm.
to do my art. So, just labor laws. I mean, as independent artists, you want to have the same rights as others, right? As far as understanding your wages, because it's gig work, right? I mean, you might perform for an hour, and so you want to make sure that that hour is enough to sustain you to the next bit of work that you do. And so just something along the lines of that, or you mentioned sick pay earlier,
Hmm.
right? I've heard a few different artists where the venue has canceled on them a few days beforehand, and
Hmm.
you know that they don't get paid that way, and so it goes the same hand. If you get sick, right, you want to be able to have some type of protection to where you can still hopefully, you know, get back to it whenever you can without having to worry about any bills and such like that. So I guess moving forward, I'm thinking just having, I don't know, having understanding and having, I don't know. I'm
No,
kind of at
no,
a
no.
loss
I
for
think
words.
that no, you were hitting it.
Yeah,
uh,
like those. Hopefully, those got to where what I'm trying to get at.
no, 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 no. I think that you hit it. I think we're thinking about the collective, and hopefully, people can be able to have secured funding for where they're not
Yeah,
leaning leaning towards well, I mean, I've heard of starving artists, but we don't want artists to starve, is what I heard you say.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. Because I
Yeah.
mean, and it seems like there's a lot of different, especially now, like post COVID times. There's a lot of different venues, a lot of different businesses that want to bring awareness to their business, awareness to their space, and so they want artists. And there's for me, it feels like there's no reason for artists to starve, yet here we are trying to find different bits and pieces, trying to understand his business stuff. So if we can connect the dots between those two, then I think that would help elevate artists.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is one of my last questions. A lot
Okay.
of artists work as independent contractors, right? How
Mhm.
how does the impact of your sense of stability and protection as a worker in the city of Seattle art scene?
How does it so say that one more time, just one more time.
So basically, like, how does the impact of your sense of stability and protection as a worker in this community, as an artist, how how do you work? How do you work to uplift independent contractors and folks that are in the art scene?
Okay, yeah. So something that I'm always doing is trying to connect those dots. And so I'll go around and try to just help other artists understand what it is that they need to do. I don't understand it fully, but I do know that there's always somebody who's there's always new artists coming in, and they always need help understanding where they're at. And so I feel like if I can try and help connect those dots, then we can, like I said, it's more of a, you're not an island, you're not solo as an artist out here. But it feels that way, especially when you're trying to navigate through the independent contract work. And so
Yeah,
just understanding what the different verbiage is, understanding, who needs you or what you need to do. Yeah,
that's
connecting those.
that's real. And last but not least, this is a fun question. Top five MCs. Go.
Top five MCs.
Top five.
I mean, I already mentioned Lupe Fiasco.
Kind
I
of, you
watch
kind of
him.
look like him. Like,
That's that's funny. Before he cut his hair, because he was like, I ain't trying to. He had a song. He said, I ain't trying to head wash no more. He was done. He's shaved it all. Anyways, though, Lupe Fiasco, um, Black Thought. Every time I was mentioning an artist, my friends like, yeah, Black Thought. Listen to his freestyle, and it's just, you can just, he's in this flow state the entire time.
mhm.
I personally like, I know it's a little off to the side, but Mike Shinoda from Lincoln Park with his Fort
Okay,
Minor stuff. I like how
that's different.
it is a little different. I like how he's I'm all about lyricists, right? Throwing those together. I gotta mention J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar both. Um, Really anybody who's gonna tell you a story and tell it to you creatively and be able to spin those words together to just make something beautiful, that's where I'm at.
Okay,
So
I appreciate that. And just for people who will be watching this podcast, can you let community know where they can find you?
got you. Yeah. So again, Ascended Reality. I do have a website. It's ascendedreality.us. I try to upkeep it as much as I can, and that has my upcoming shows on it. You can also please follow me on Instagram. Just the way the algorithms work, the more you get, the more exposure you have. So it's Ascended Reality Music, just all strung together. Or you could just search Ascended Reality on any streaming platform, even chatbots. You could probably tell them, and they'll let you know who I am. But it's just Ascended Reality on any streaming platforms.
And you need to check them out. When I say that they are fire, they are fire. And I just wanted to say, I want to let you know as well that Bill 206 can also help provide support to help you and other artists understand more about the labor standards that are happening out here in the city of Seattle, right? If you need more help with resources or to be in the know, we need you to hit us up, y'all. Please check out our website at bill206.com/labor standards. My name is Deontay Damper, a proud member of Bill 206 as Brothers United in Leadership Development. Until next time, join us for our next episode of Bill/City of Seattle Office of Labor Standards. Have a great day.
Peace.
Build is back with another year of our Build Labor Standards Initiative. Join us this year as we focus on the Black community members who are in the arts and entertainment category as we dive into the major ordinances within the city of Seattle. Join us at upcoming events and visit our website to learn more. Visit www.bill206.com/labor standards to learn more today.